Today on this episode of RealityGays,
Dakota finally reveals the extent of his calculated game.
looks like Whitney and Jen are donezo, and Zac helped.
And with chaos and a top knot, Taylor finally touches down in Los Angeles.
Roll it, Christina.
RG on YT, y'all.
Get down tonight, Daddy.
It's time for Reality Gays. We're here to cover another reality show. And while the video plays, just sit back and let go. Now, you may be thinking, where'd the theme song go? We made this little switch because copyright's a bitch. We got 90 Day, Mormon Wives, Layla, and more. And now you can watch us, you whore. You like to watch. You dirty slut. Yeah, you know.
Like it, don't you? A little too much. Ooh, moist.
RG on YouTube, y'all. I want to show my creamy shoulders. And maybe my nipple.
Poodle, no! All right. Do you think Jen didn't want to talk to Whitney, and so Zac went in her place, or Zac told Jen he was going to go speak for her?
I don't think they are. I don't think Jen and Zac are that different in the way they even think anymore.
Speak to that. I'm interested. I think I agree with you, but I want to know more what you mean.
I think she has adapted his way of behaving. It's so gross. Yeah.
Oh, if you're watching their YouTube video, you just saw me get that. What did it you say that face people make?
Bad shrimp.
Bad shrimp.
When you've had shrimp that's just a little too long out in the sun. Yeah, it's like a little too, it's not even rubbery anymore. You bite through it and it's like, it's a little too soft. And it's not ceviche.
Oh, God, y'all. Oh, this is Reality Gays. I'm Mattie.
And I'm Poodle. And we are two ridiculous homosexuals who love nothing more than tearing reality television a new one.
Oh, and today we are wrapping it up, ladies, gentlemen, gays, and theys. We are wrapping it up with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, our favorite saints and sinners. This is season 4, episode 10, The Book of Thorns and Roses.
They flip those two. It's usually roses and thorns.
They did. They did.
I guess there are more thorns.
Every rose has its thorns.
There are more thorns than roses this time. Or it could be, wait. Thorns are the bad things, but roses are for Taylor because it's Bachelorette. Smart.
Yeah, you just got that? You know what? You've had the flu.
Also, but I thought roses and thorns, you know.
No, yeah. Thorn, but I'd still stand by what I say. I think it's going to be fantastic. Or, you know what? This is what I'm going to say.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I feel like somehow Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has now kind of, sometimes it treads Love After Lockup territory lately. Like,
how?
It's entertaining, but you're also worried about half of the people's mental state.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the severe trauma. Or
I feel like that's 90 Day, too.
Well,
like this season.
That's true.
Like with Lisa and Daniel, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's true. I guess that's just why we're here, y'all. We're just going to say off the bat later on when we talk about Layla, trigger warning for eating disorders. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up about that. So if that triggers you when we talk about Layla's, I would take a little skip in that.
I can't believe it took 4 seasons to bring this up.
I
guess she wasn't ready.
4 seasons, and on the last episode, let's just bring it up now.
It did feel like quite a late entrant.
Yeah, like we already had enough, y'all.
Well, I think everyone, I just assumed she had some type of body dysmorphia and she wasn't eating. I'd assume that just from her appearance.
Yeah.
And I thought that she didn't want to talk about it or she was getting help for it. It seemed a very late thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's start where we finished. And that is with the season 4 title shoot where Whitney walks out and Jen's like, I'm not surprised how she acted. And she said, therapy is expensive and I'm going to send Whitney my bill. And I wanted to say, girl, your therapy, it ain't a working.
That husband,
you're right.
That
You're
husband
so
has
right.
poisoned you.
He
has gassed you up in all the wrong ways and broken you down in all the right ways that are right for him.
Truly.
He really has. And
really
I'm telling
has.
you, this guy will ruin her. He will totally isolate her from everyone. The reason is Whitney can see through him. That's why.
Whitney can see, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because in the past too, he hasn't really loved Macy.
Nope.
And Michaela because they see through him too.
Yep. I'm telling you, he's had a relatively quiet season 3, and he had some good stuff to say on the reunion. This guy's the same. He's
and they
sick
talk,
little fuck.
Whitney walks out and they're fighting, and Layla says, I'm terrified if I don't comment on someone's post. And Taylor, Frankie, Paul again kind of says, yeah, that's my fault. Y'all, because then we see the flashbacks of her just freaking out like, no one was there. No one was there.
The CMAs, yeah.
But Whitney's not even acknowledging that. We actually said at the time, we understood that because like I said last episode, and you've said this too, but this is their world. Is social media. Whitney wasn't even asking for that. You know, it's funny. Jen is saying she doesn't say anything to me behind the scenes and but that's what Whitney was talking about. She didn't want to post. She just wanted her in passing to say, congrats on Chicago.
As two people who are in Mom Talk together. Mm-hmm. And she couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I think that speaks to her character.
I mean, someone who let you stay in their house because you couldn't find a house.
Exactly.
Well, and then Layla follows up and she's like, look, these opportunities are great, but it pulls us away from Mom Talk. And if we don't have our friendships, what's it all for? And didn't Mom Talk start during COVID?
I don't know. I think it probably started a little before that.
Because it rose to fame in late 2021.
Okay, so in COVID, yeah.
So I was going to say, I thought of this last episode, and I just forgot to mention it, but it's like Whitney gets it, and maybe even Taylor gets it too, that yes, we're all friends, but we were all friends and hanging out because that's all we could do at the time. But now this isn't going to, it's like they all feel like high school or almost middle school girls, like, well, you didn't defend me with Robbie and this and that. And it's like, y'all are all adults with children.
And there's a way to stay friends and friends in quotes without having to be best friends, ride or die. But it's almost like we take it one more level to meta and say, we're friends on the show. Like housewives are friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Jen is the only one who doesn't really understand this.
Yeah, I think so. Because Lisa Barlow and Meredith Marks don't hang out.
No, but I think that's a very different show. But I think the idea here is originated with friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think the best analog would be the original Real Housewives of Orange County.
Yeah.
Because those women were all friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly there were some who joined, or they kind of, you had to mix and match. And I think now these women don't have time to maybe not catch up with each other every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Like Macy and Miranda probably don't talk but once a week, if they don't talk at all.
Yeah.
But Jen is still seeing this almost juvenile idea of mom talk that people who are followers of mom talk imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just never going to be like that fully. Whitney has always seen it as a springboard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all the girls kind of get it. And Whitney's the first one who says, you only came back for Dancing with the Stars. She's like, yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Even Miranda's like, I'm here for the money.
Right. Yeah.
And so they see it because this isn't going to last. You know, it's going to.
Yep. The show is small. Their platform is what will last.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but Jen's like, I feel like our friendship's been fake and I don't have the time. And Jesse kind of says, you know, there is competition and jealousy as we're growing. And so she's like, and we're going to get more opportunities.
Yeah.
So Jen's like, I just want to say, you don't care about us. You just want to be on a show. So yeah, you already said that, but that's kind of how that finished out. Would you like to go to Provo or would you like to go to Los Angeles?
Why don't we start in, let's stick with Dancing with the Stars content in Los Angeles.
Sure. Okay.
So y'all, it's I believe the day after the elimination ceremony. I believe this was week 6 or week 7. But Jen got eliminated last night. And it's interesting. I'm trying to figure out, she's like, she said, I'm shocked and disappointed. And she's like, Zac says, you can be sad, but you also need to be proud of yourself because you did this 8 weeks postpartum. And she said, I'll never forget looking over you and seeing how proud you were of me. And the producer's like, Jen, you really should be proud. And then so Whitney was blowing up her phone because she says she wants to talk. And then there was an influencer who was saying that during the elimination that Whitney was laughing at Jen.
I didn't see that in the clip.
I didn't see that at all.
It didn't look as much as laughing to me. It looked more kind of like surprise or what do I do?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of that.
That's what I got for it. And if I thought I was laughing, I would full on come for her. But
then Jen was doing a live and wouldn't say if she would vote for Whitney or not.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well,
when it's all over.
Well, again, is when you talk, she threw her under the bus too, because then it makes, so Jen's like, I'm tired of being fake. She knows it's fucked up. And Zac's like, well, have her some conversation. Someone needs to hold her accountable. And he's like, I know this feels like the end, but this is just beginning. But this is the end because if you'll notice later, before Jen was like, well, I'm thinking I want to stay in LA and I want to do this. But she pinned all her hopes and dreams on this one thing.
Right. That's as far as she could see.
And that's all she had. And now that that's gone, then by the end of this episode, she's like, I just need to go back to Utah.
Exactly.
Because that's what Zac told her.
Mm-hmm.
That he wants her to go back because, he wants to take up whatever and she'll figure out her next step.
I'm saying this now. She'll be pregnant again within a year.
Probably, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's sad to think about, but that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Awful. He'll be back in medical school, maybe.
Maybe. Meanwhile, Whitney's going to short stories.
Have you been here? Have you been there? Short stories. I believe this is the hotel.
It's I'm going to look it up, but I'm almost positive. Is it on La Cienega?
No, it's on Fairfax.
Yes, I have been there.
Yeah.
They have amazing Bloody Marys. It's a great brunch place.
It's a better place for brunch. It's too expensive for dinner, and it's okay.
Not if somebody else is paying for it. You're doing it wrong. You know better.
But I'm saying it's okay.
It's okay.
I honestly don't like wasting money, even if it's daddy's money.
Then this is part of the problem. You shouldn't care.
I don't want subpar food for higher prices. It's the principle of the thing.
God, this is why, again, you're hunched in a corner with a spotlight on you.
In my little monastic cell. Yes. And wearing a hair shirt. So Whitney's going to meet Jen, and then Zac shows up. And I went, you fucking coward.
Oh,
Just say you don't want to meet with her. Do not send Zac.
yeah.
It's just so fucking gross. If this would happen to me, I would have been like,
I would have left.
Hell no.
I would have said, and Whitney honestly probably said, well, I'm going to do this for the show.
Yeah.
Because she's not an idiot. But if it was, I probably would stay there for a show and entertain a little bit and then do what Whitney did and then dramatically walk off. But if this was in real life, I would say there's no reason for me to talk to you.
Right.
So
it's like, I'm filling in for Jen. She didn't want to come because she's grieving, And
it really kind of, look, like we said, we don't think Whitney is not a girl's girl. Whitney is not here for the friendships. However, Jen
most
keeps
stars
saying,
aren't.
Well, Jen keeps saying Whitney doesn't put in the effort.
Mm-hmm.
But in this season, every time Jen wants something, Whitney shows up.
Right.
And Jen doesn't.
Yep. So Whitney's like, I understand. I'm sad she was eliminated. He starts out, I don't think you are. Just like, and she's like, she just needs more time to process. And she said, Whitney's like, I gave her a voicemail apology. And Zac's like, yeah, I listened. I thought that was kind of BS. And then she's like, well, what about the live when you guys posted?
She did say, I want to say, Whitney did said, I overreacted at the shoot. I apologize for that. And then go ahead what you were saying.
But she's like, what about the live? Were you saying basically don't vote for me?
What she asked him, what's the objective there? And he's kind of like, well.
He's like, you could have just said who you are voting for instead of who not to vote for. That's crazy.
She's like, it's cruel and mean. And now I have to deal with that.
Hate online. She's getting hate.
And forget people vote. So now this is it. They did it to throw her under the bus. So she wouldn't last long. Whereas Zac goes, well, why do you think everyone says and sees that about you? Would you have voted for Jen? And Whitney said, I would have. And he said, that's bullshit. I think Whitney would have voted for Jen because she knows the more she promotes mom talk in public forums,
they all rise up.
They all fucking rise up.
Yeah.
Because if she got voted off before Jen, you know what Whitney would do? She'd be fucking cheerleading her. And then when Whitney won or got voted off, they'd cut to, or when Jen got voted off, they'd cut to Whitney crying in her seat.
Exactly.
That's how you fucking play
she's
this,
a supportive
y'all.
person.
Yes.
She's just, Whitney's like 10 steps ahead of everybody else.
Jen totally, you know what it is? Jen doesn't get the edit. She doesn't understand any of that process.
That is the most important thing about this whole thing is the edit.
The edit. Blame it on the edit.
And Jen, you're right. Jen doesn't understand the edit. She's too busy living in the now. You can't do that in a reality show.
Christina, can you save this section as like I'll put it on a computer chip or something that I can put in Poodle's ear so when he's on Big Brother or Traitors and he tries to show his ass, he can just play the thing of Poodle saying the edit is the most important thing.
I'm going to fight that because I'm going to need to... If someone says something to me, I'm going to have to pop off. I'm going to pop off.
Oh, God.
Ooh, I'm going to pop off. I can just see it now. Alan Cumming is getting saucy with me.
Oh, and now that we're almost done with this, you can finish your audition.
Whitney's like, Jen thinks the world is out to get her. And I that's because Zac tells her that.
Words, mouth, mind. That's literally what I was about to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Zac's like, no, only you and Demi, and now you're best friends. And that's when Whitney's like, I'm a great fucking person. The difference between me and Jen is that I'm honest. And then he's like, no, Jen is the least calculating. The problem is Jen's not the least calculating. She's just the one who, Jen's the biggest, most immature person there. And she's reacting. Jen's the most Taylor's the most reactive. But Jen is very reactive.
This season really is making a lot of, not all of them, not like Jesse and not even really Macy, but because of the way Jen's acting and Taylor, it makes you, and to me earlier on, but it makes you go, wait, Whitney, it makes Whitney seem like she never really was the villain. She was just an adult who had adult emotions and wasn't like codependently attached to all these other girls in a juvenile way. That's not the case. That's not the case, but Whitney could play it that way.
But go back and watch season 1.
No, I remember, but I'm just saying Whitney could rewrite her edit in that way.
Well, now that I think about it, I think she went into season 1 with saying, I'm going to run away with this motherfucker.
Yes.
I'm going to create the Sue Sylvester. I'm going to create an atmosphere so toxic. It's that kind of thing. And I do think it was planned. Now that I've seen Whitney's, and then you watched season 2 where she got back in. Season 3, where she kind of cemented her place. And now look at her. I'm telling you. Big fan. And I would have, if you heard the way I talked about her on season 1.
Really horrible things. I was really shocked.
Yeah, you didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything, Whitney. If you're listening, you're not.
And Whitney's like, look, this isn't easy. All of us are mentally unwell. And Zac's like, yeah, you can tell. And Zac's like, she needed the world to see your true colors. And then she's like, but when someone goes on a live and creates more shit for me, that's fucked up. And she walks out, and I wrote down, Jen is a coward.
She is a coward.
Yeah. And so she calls Connor and tells
think
Zac,
about this. I want to think about this. Preface it before you say what you're going to say. She calls Connor. Connor, who has fucking been there for Zac, coddled his poor little masculine Utah brain into having his wife support him. Connor, who like hangs out with him and his kids. And so anyway, so go ahead.
Says, well, Zac showed up instead of Jen, and I feel so manipulated. And I hate crying because the world sees that I'm trying to be the victim. We actually see another layer of meta-ness here, where you can tell how good she is at this she's like, I'm upset and I'm trying, but everyone will think that I'm playing the victim because that's kind of what you have to do on a reality show. But at the same time, I'm having these feelings, and these are real feelings, and I'm a real person, but I'm trying to be something that I'm not because everyone has to do that on a reality show.
Yeah.
And it's spellbinding.
It's spellbinding. Whereas Connor's like, I'm going to rip off his head. He said, I hate men that are trying to make women feel small.
And that's exactly what he does.
And he said that, and I went, I would suck your dick this day to Sunday. God, you're hot.
I think that would be better for you than it would be for him.
Yeah, boy, you haven't had your dick sucked by me. Boy,
ooh.
Never had a complaint. So we're back in Jen's rental, and she's like, thank you for talking to Whitney. She's like, Zac's like, are you done with this? She's like, I am. I'm done with her. And she's like, someone asked me if I'm rooting for her, and I said no, and now I owe her an apology. And the producer said, do you see yourself ever being friends with Whitney again? And Jen said, she is Demi 2.0. I'll be cordial. That's
saying something.
That's not fair, honestly, because Demi's
that's a different level.
Zac's like, I feel like she's a parasite, and we can never enjoy the experience for what it is. Man, this just feels so much like
the way they dehumanize people.
They dehumanize
calling people
it's
parasites. Yeah,
kind of sounds like what some people who are elected in office do.
Yeah,
so that way we other people
dehumanize them. If you dehumanize them, then they don't. Then they can't have the same feelings that you do.
Well, what you do is you dehumanize the other. And then you talk about how much you have changed and grown and how wonderful you are. And the sentence he actually said, I feel like she's a parasite and we never can enjoy the experience for what it is, period. Then the next sentence, you have grown so much and
Yep.
I wish we could talk about that. So that is a perfect example of how you condition someone. And she's like, well, again, she's like, I feel like this was, the journey's over. I feel like this was stripped of me. And I went,
What?
there's been 20 seasons with Dancing with the Stars. It's a competition show. This is what fucking happens. Be a goddamn grown adult.
What was stripped of you?
It's
You
not
lost.
stripped of you. It's a you weren't I saw the video. You're not as good as a dancer as fucking Whitney. You weren't as good as fucking Crocodile Dundee's son
and you were
or whatever.
never ever gonna go win when Steve Irwin's son was on there.
When Robert Irwin's son, who A, is a really good dancer, B,
has an amazing story,
hot with his shirt off, and C, his dad died in the ocean, is in an Australian national institution.
Yep.
Done.
And he has a smile that would cause a shipwreck.
Oh God.
Yep.
He's very handsome. Yeah.
Anyway,
it just shows, honestly, how out of touch she is. And of course, she then says, the only thing I want is to go back to Utah. So,
and then Whitney's like, guess what, Roxy, it's official. She's fine.
I'm bringing home that mirror ball, and then New York City, here I come. So,
anyway, so that's all for LA.
Yeah, let's pop back up to Provo, shall we?
Yeah, Taylor is, she says, I feel really fucked over about finding out about Dakota and Shania. He knew what this would do to me. And she's packing, and she keeps saying, I wonder if I'm even capable of doing this. And I just said, the genius of letting us see what's in Taylor's head literally a day before she goes into the Bachelorette.
Yeah.
I can't imagine of a better setup for this season.
It also shows, it really is, it just solidifies Taylor Frankie Paul is an addict. She's a dry drunk or whatever you want to call it. I don't think to our knowledge, she's not using anything, but I think it's probably the only thing that I can come up with it is love addiction from feeling so unwanted. And what's really sad for me this episode is all of her family and friends knew 5 episodes ago that she was going to sabotage this.
Yes.
Because that's what she does with everything in her life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like the way I feel like Michaela. Michaela's not going to move on from Jace and then like figure things out. She's got to figure this. She's going to get in another relationship and the same thing is going to happen. What's going to happen is Taylor Frankie Paul is going to, if she picks a guy on the Bachelorette, she's going to pick the worst guy on the fucking Bachelorette.
Whoa.
And that's saying something. But that's who she's going to pick. She's going to pick the worst fucking guy and not listen to any of her friends because she has no business dating anyone.
You're not wrong. That said, we're still going to watch every episode of the show.
No, the only way she could get away from Dakota at this point, Bachelor or not, is if he died. That's it.
Whoa, that's dark.
Until she fucking works on her shit, it's not ever going to happen because they have a kid.
Yep. In Salt Lake City, we have Jesse, Miranda, Layla, spa day. And I like it
skip this if you get triggered, by the way.
Now, apparently, they're like, Halloween party's next week. Taylor's not coming, so we can have alcohol there. So apparently, I guess they couldn't have alcohol because either Taylor would drink or...
I forgot. Is Taylor sober and I just don't remember? Did she...
I don't...
Keep talking. I'm going to Google.
She got a DUI. Was it a DUI?
Oh, she did.
Yeah. But maybe that was it.
Oh, yeah. She did in that thing. After that, she said she is sober.
Yeah.
So, But it goes to show, you've talked about this. You can stop drinking, but it
goes into something else.
It goes into
Another
something
addiction.
else unless you actually work on the thing that caused you to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
anyway,
of course, we have to invite Dakota and Shania. The producers just required that. And so Layla's talking about the modeling stuff, and she says, I put so much work into my image, and it's just really hard to feel like someone didn't want me.
because Ford said no. Cameo says no.
All I can think of is you're 24, and it is still hard, but I guess I don't think you've been experienced modeling if this is going to be still your experience every single time.
It's that's one of the best things for me being an actor is just having to be told no or nothing so many times. It's just part of it.
Yeah.
And it goes back to I feel like Layla is like,
modeling's probably a bad idea.
I feel like she's 12 years old.
Yeah.
Being that she got pregnant so young, being that she hasn't had a relationship with her father, being last season when she talks about she didn't really have a connection to her Black identity growing up in
There's so many boxes to still fill in.
One of the worst things for you to do when you don't know who you are is be a model.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
Exactly. And she's right now, she's 99 pounds, 5'9".
Same height as Wonder Woman. Linda Carter's 5'9".
Thanks. Mm-hmm. The actress, you mean?
And actually Wonder Woman.
That's not a real person.
It is to me. Actually, I think in the DC Comics lore, I think Wonder Woman's supposed to be 6'2" or 6'1" because she's an Amazon.
I was going to say 5'9" is a little short for...
I'm talking about this and I'm just realizing why I'm single. So we need to move on.
There's a lot of other reasons, but yeah.
Thanks.
So she's like, I know that's not super healthy. And I went, the girls kind of like, you can tell them get quiet. She's like, so I feel exhausted at night. My body hurts. She says if one leg touches the other, it's painful.
Because it's bone on bone. And then we find out she used to have anorexia. Then she got pregnant. And then she separated from her ex. And she said she feels like she's been battling this for the last 4 years. Yeah, because unless Layla didn't report, but I know that friends that I know that done GLP and family and things like that, they even on the online, they ask you a questionnaire. Have you had eating disorders before?
Right.
And things like that. So maybe she just didn't answer.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is obviously another type of addiction.
Yeah. Truly.
And so she's been on GLP-1s for a year, and
which she we've seen her a year ago. I don't know. I just feel like that's not something you get on to lose 5 pounds.
No, and I think that's GLP-1 abuse.
I think it is. Yeah.
And
so she says, I have a mirror. She's like, but
she can't see it accurately. That's body dysmorphia.
Yeah, she can't see it accurately. I know. They talk to her later and say things like, but you look so great. And I kind of hate it when people say that to someone with body dysmorphia, because even though you're trying to say you look good or you look too, basically, or
they're
you look
not
too
trained
skinny.
to do it. They don't really know.
When you tell someone who's anorexic or has body dysmorphia, oh my God, you look too skinny. You actually then either it's two things. Part of them does get off on it and they love it, but then another part says, I'm fucked up and I'm crazy for thinking this way because I feel like I look fat. So it's just y'all, I'm not a full-on expert in that form of psychology, but I will say, talk to, or like even just do a good Google about things you should say to someone going through body dysmorphia.
With body dysmorphia,
Because honestly, talking about their body is usually the worst thing you can do.
Yeah. Positively or negatively, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
So they both say to Layla, you don't have to do this alone. And we're here for you.
That's perfect rhetoric. Right. That's great. That is what you say.
Let's move on to it is Taylor's house. This is the scene where I was aghast. And also it's the scene where production, even though they've been kind of pushing him to be the villain, production absolutely just takes away about every bit of curtain they have for Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
So Dakota shows up. It's the last night for the Bachelorette. And it's like it's the last time seeing her before she leaves. And I won't talk to her for like 2 months. And it says 15 hours before he's walking in. He's walking out 4 hours before.
4 hours before.
I went, that fucking piece of shit.
I hate
And
him.
the producer says, what happened last night to Taylor? Or sorry, she says to Dakota. He smiles and laughs.
He laughs. That's what I'm telling you. The guy's fucking evil.
Yeah.
He's just as evil as Jordan.
And then 2 hours before,
Almost worse.
Aspen and Leanne come over. She's not ready, still in bed. She's not feeling well, she says. And she says she can't get on the plane, wants to meet them later. The mom and Aspen are going to go. She's going to meet them. And I got a bad feeling about this. Meanwhile, Mom Talk is just at the airport with signs about like they're treating it like her mission.
They're going to surprise her.
Don't forget to drop your baggage with Dakota's face on it. And
this is what I'm talking about. If they weren't in business together, these are women who have children. These are women with husbands, women with lives. Like, they're stopping everything in their life to go to the fucking airport to do this for her. Eventually, this is going to stop.
Yep. So Mom and Aspen come down. They're like, yeah, she's going to come later. And Michaela's like, I thought I could not be more disappointed. And
Yeah. Like,
so then they tell.
And that's where Jesse knows.
They find out that Michaela's. Sorry, they found out that Taylor slept with Dakota
because Jesse knows.
Yes, and then so they tell Leanne, and she's all she can go is no, sir. That's like, in other words, that's her Mormon response for her shocked response, not to say no shit. So she
just keeps saying over and over, for real. And
right.
Amber, as rightly so, she looks at her mom. She said, why are we even doing this?
You mean Aspen?
Aspen, I'm sorry. I think corrected. Aspen's like, why are we even doing this?
Yep.
And Leanne says, God, it makes me sick that she would put all this in jeopardy. And she tries to call her. Leanne starts crying. And Macy goes, this is a bad sign for Mom Talk. She's like, and this is what she said broke my heart. She said, and that's what I'm talking about. I think they're all starting to realize they're never going to be able to help it unless she helps herself. Because she said, we have all tried so hard to keep her away from Dakota, and it backfired on us.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not just Taylor getting burned, it's all of them. And so the women decide that they're going to go and grab her. And Jesse calls it when she's like, she's an addict when it comes to Dakota, and she's going to sacrifice all of this for Dakota. She's never going to get better. They roll up to Taylor's house. They're ringing the door.
It's locked.
They're able to get in. They go to her door, and Taylor's like, why are you here? I'm sick. Everyone just leave me alone. I'm so fucking sick. She's not sick.
No.
Well, actually,
She hasn't slept all night.
her mental state is probably so bad.
Right.
And she's so terrified. She actually probably is making herself sick.
She probably feels physically ill.
So she is, yes. And she is sick. Let me just rephrase. She is sick mentally. She is, well, we know that. And Jesse's like, you should have said no to this. You're not well.
Right.
And she's like, I'm so low. I'm such a beat. And Jesse's like, just say no to the Bachelorette. And Jesse gets pissed. And she's like, let's just go.
Right. They leave her. Then we see 3 hours after she missed the flight. And now she's kind of up and she's like, this is an opportunity to get away from all this toxicity. And it's LA. She is there. Thank God. And then fucking Dakota is calling her.
While she's in the car. And first thing he said, I've always wanted you. I want to remind everyone, as I reminded you, 5 episodes ago, that was a completely different narrative he was saying.
Yeah.
He wanted to break up with her.
And he says, I want to just say I'm sorry for everything with Shania. And she's like, be specific. What are you sorry for and what'd you do? And she's like, I want to hear you're sorry and what you did. And he kind of humana's over. He's like,
It was dumb.
It was stupid what I did.
But who it was doesn't matter. That's not true.
Right. But overall, I think we love each other. And she's like, but we're toxic. And he goes, but we don't have to be. Just getting her getting her hopes up more.
I
for
want you
nothing.
to be happy. Save a rose for me.
She kind of smiles.
And she smiles when he says that. Yeah. And I went, God, you're not done. You're just not done with this piece of shit.
Yeah. And he's like, I've been acting like a dumbass, but that's why I love you. And you're the only person to help me realize that. And he's like, can you just admit you still love me? She goes, well, I hate you and I love you. And she said, I know it's dumb for me to be talking to him, but this is a great opportunity to get away from him. And he keeps saying, so you'll save a rose for me? She doesn't say anything the second time.
She doesn't. All right, y'all, just a reminder, we will be doing a Bachelorette Corner. We are watching the show. We don't have time to cover every episode, but either on B90 or The Single Life, we'll be doing a Bachelorette Corner. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, we're going to have, those will be either shorts or separate YouTube videos, our little 10-minute kind of discussion of The Bachelorette.
And so that premieres March 22nd.
March 22nd. Mm-hmm.
Sunday.
All right. So let's talk about Jesse's house and the annual shitty Halloween party.
Jordan as Hugh Hefner. I don't think I've ever seen anything as gross.
It's tied with Dakota being an actual red flag. It's not funny. It's just not funny. I'm so over half of these guys and I never want to see them on the screen anymore. So Michaela's like, I don't know where Jace is. And they don't know that we're living separately, and I don't know what's going to happen. But and she's like, but the gravity of being separated is hitting me, and I don't know how long he can be patient for. Jesse's wearing like a Playboy, but again, the costumes.
Did you?
Suck.
Now, people have said Michaela looks like Leighton Meester the whole time, and I'm so glad that she just leaned into it and went as Blair Waldorf.
Oh, is that who she was? I didn't get it because I never watched that show.
You missed? Did you? They said it. They're like, "Oh, you're Blair Waldorf."
I didn't know who Blair Waldorf was. I was like, "Who's that?"
Gossip Girl. Yeah,
I never watched Gossip Girl.
Chuck Bass. That was a. It doesn't matter if you watched it, but you just gotta know who those people were.
Well, I didn't know the character names, but good for her for leaning into it.
You're just talking about it. You're like, there were like someone I didn't know.
It's like I want. Mikey Meeks better be Arya Stark.
You didn't know who any of these people were when it's like, oh, Dan Humphries is here. Who did you think they were called? You just didn't know who it was.
Not familiar.
And so when that happens, your brain just goes, does not compute, reject, move on.
I just went shitty Halloween costume. That's all I went.
What did you think they were, though?
Shitty Halloween costumes. I don't know.
What was it supposed to be?
I didn't know.
So you just stopped inquiring.
I was like, I don't care. I don't care.
I guess my brain would go, what is that supposed to be?
If they were more interesting costumes.
It was actually quite specific. It was for the show. It was actually nailed it.
That's great. But I didn't care. I was too busy. Too busy on the...
it went right over your head, the Gossip Girl of it. That was a thing, though. It didn't. You needed to know who those people were. You didn't have to watch the show.
I didn't.
It was great for 2 seasons, and then it was just like, bleh. But that show was the moment. Like, what was
I
that?
just remember Kristen Bell was the
2000.
That's all I knew.
That is where Blake Lively came from.
I do know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would not have Blake Lively without Gossip Girl. Or Penn I forget his last name.
Penn Badgley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even the guy who's with that thing in Kristen Bell, that show now, wasn't he a Gossip Girl? What's his name with curly hair?
Adam Brody? Uh-huh. Adam Brody was in the OC.
Oh, I didn't watch that either.
Where were you? Where were you? All of us did.
Yeah, I didn't.
People are confused about where you were in the 2000s.
Well,
in general.
I was working 2 jobs. Like Reba.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, okay, let's talk about this. So Layla's like, I'm grateful for Jesse and Miranda. They've been so supportive. And so Jesse found a facility, which is incredible. And she said, I was anxious. We see a little flashback of her going. I loved this that, again, Chase and Mason, and Mason walks up and Mason's like, your book is so good, Macy. And she kind of goes,
I loved it. She's like,
went,
I didn't know boys read books.
You read this? And she's like, I am shocked that he read this.
I think
and
that
I think
he did say, I listened to your book, which is fine. Listening to audiobooks is reading. And
yes, I'm listening to Liza's right now.
But I think there's it's a strange gendered thing about men and women. Just men do certain things and women only do certain things in Mormon culture. And I guess men reading isn't something men do.
Well, they can read the Bible.
Well, that's
a
true.
good book, or the Book of Mormon. Or
but
whatever.
It's weird. I grew up with, like, my father read. And
I grew up being taught everybody reads.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad had really bad dyslexia, so he didn't read a lot, but he loved that I read.
Right. Like, it wasn't, but I can imagine, like, my brother doesn't read because he has dyslexia. And but I'm trying to think, I think, like, a lot of my uncles read. They loved mysteries and things like that.
My grandpa read.
So it's a very gendered opinion about that.
Yeah, I didn't have Uncle Andy read. Uncle Leonard read.
What did they read? It's like Louis L'Amour, Lonesome Dove.
And Uncle Andy would read. He'd read things like The Art of War and fucking Machiavelli shit because he was a narcissist. So he read like fucking crazy shit. Yeah. He wasn't a good guy.
I will say, if you find a man who only reads nonfiction, red flag. I'm saying that now. I think you've got to read a little fiction just to keep yourself, because it's too self-examinatory. I think fiction's good for everybody.
I think so. I mean, what do you want me to say? Yes, I agree.
Well, no, it's just there's something about it, especially for men.
Yeah.
If
they just read stuff about wars, I can't.
Right,
like
that's
history,
what I'm saying.
war stuff. Yeah. I think that's an older generation, though. So Shania comes in, and Dakota's dressed as a red flag, and he's like, "It's so awkward seeing you." So 6 hours after Dakota wanted Taylor to save him a rose, he's fucking flirting with Shania.
That's the thing. This is where the production completely turns. It is just actively, it was very interesting they waited to the last episode.
He's like, you're going to hate this, but I did sleep with Taylor. But the truth is I'm just where I am right now. I'm just emotionally messed up. It's all me. It's poor me. So now vulnerable narcissism, let me get their sympathy.
Right.
And I wrote, I wrote for all this? I went, what a fucking horrible role model you are for your son.
100%.
More than anything, you're a shitty father. And I'm going to say this, that because people are like, even my own dad, like, I love him very much. And he was a great dad in a lot of ways, but he was a shitty husband and fucked with my mom a lot. And that does influence of how you are as a father. That is not a good role model for your children to have.
Yeah. Great for how you show up in relationships.
Thankfully, I'm fine. So the producer said, do you think Taylor should be leading Mom Talk? And Miranda goes, personally, maybe we just raw dog it.
Yeah. Did you hear when Dakota said, maybe she'll meet all those dudes and choose me at the end. But I can't rely on that.
I hate him so much.
They're trying to like sum up a little bit, and Jesse's like, Mom Talk has really flipped traditional Mormon roles. We're breadwinners, not these trad wives. And Dakota's talking to Jordan and Jesse and says, I need to tell someone. It's been freaking me out. But Taylor told me the last time that we did it, she was ovulating. And they all and Jesse's like, she's gonna be the next pregnant bachelorette.
And the producer asked her, is there a possibility you could be pregnant?
And she grimaces.
I feel like the head of Disney would open her mouth like a bird and feed her a plan B. Because they're like, we have a production schedule. Things are going. You're getting rid of this baby.
Right. Yeah. And they would do it in front of an audience.
Yeah. Exactly.
In front of the entire board.
Mm-hmm. Actually,
they're like, Taylor, we're going to watch you take that plan B.
They'll have her dead grandmother on a video come back and tell her to take a plan B.
That's from Love is Blind. I'm still thinking about that.
I am too.
I'm still thinking about how that may have been one of the wildest things I've ever seen.
I've had like 5 people text me about it.
All
right. Are we done? Is that it? Have we finished it all? Have we left it all on the floor?
We're done.
Poodle?
We're done.
I'm a good. Pool. You can rest your voice. And when are you going to be able to get banged? Because I don't want to be around you until you regulate yourself.
It's going to be a while. I can't be gross and blowing my nose when I'm I'm in flagrante delicto.
Tuesday. I needed you to be regulated by then.
Nope, not going to happen. If you can't have me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
But why don't I feel like you're always at your worst?
Maybe my worst is my best. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love you.
This is what you pay to see.
All right, everybody. That is the show. Thank y'all so much for joining us on this wonderful season of Secret Lives of Mormon Lives.
Shout out again since season 1.
Yes, shout out to the PR at Hulu who gave us screeners for this and allowed us to be able to do this. So we appreciate to get it done. Most of these episodes to get done a little early. Also, we both talked about this. We want to give a huge shout out to our team, to Caitlin, to Christina, and to Kristen because this is a lot of extra work for them.
So much.
And so, y'all, we just talked for an hour and watch a show. Especially Christina spending hours editing these videos for y'all.
We could not do it without our team. Team RG is the best team out there. They are. And reminder, we will be talking about The Bachelorette in our own little way. Not over for TFP. It's not over. We're going to be talking about it. It's going to be right here on this YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe, like these videos. I was responding to some of your comments the other day. So I actually think I was able to fix it where you can respond to comments. I need to look around. It's all right. You've been busy. But I've been responding to the comments on YouTube. Comment on the Patreon. We appreciate that very much. And y'all, for the last time this season, this is RealityGays saying goodbye for now. And in the immortal, beautiful, wise words of Demi, we say, beautiful.